Hey
Hey,
guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we are live today again, as you can see, with Ben is running over in that direction here. So Ben is someone that basically we have actually met before, kind of. Well, not really,
yeah,
but
sort of.
we did a race at the same race. Ben ended up doing it in like some kind of insane time, like 32 minutes. And I think you can, I sort of, yeah, that's it there.
That's the one there.
And
The Folkestone 10K.
folks in 10K. And I think on his vlog that he put, you can just about see me right at the end of the at the start, because I literally got to the race about 1 second before the
Yeah,
gun went.
literally.
And
I
yeah.
remember watching your race day vlog, and you pretty much just got there as the gun went off, didn't you?
Literally,
So
yeah.
right at
So
the back of the pack.
so I wanted to get Ben on the channel today. Guys that are watching this, that watch the live streams before, you know how it works. I normally like to get a guest on here. We have a little bit of a chat. We talk about obviously the title. So we're going to be talking about with Ben today how to run faster, because Ben is an incredibly fast runner. So we'll be getting some tips and tricks from Ben today. But as always, we just have a little bit of a loose chat. We're going to talk about, we've got quite a lot in common at the moment actually, because I've been doing some athletics races, and Ben's been doing quite a few athletics races too. So yeah, just wanted to get Ben on the channel to have a little bit of a chat with him. But yeah, so Ben, do you just want to just quickly introduce yourself to the guys that are watching today? Tell us a little bit about yourself, sort of how long you've been running for, and all that kind of thing, mate.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I'm Ben. I'm currently based in Essex. I'd say I've been running for about 2 years properly, but I've always sort of been into sports. When I was at school, I used to be in the cross country team. So when I was about 15 years old, and then I sort of played a lot of football growing up
Yeah.
and didn't really do much running at all. Um, but then when I turned about 2021, started to run again and thought, oh, I'm really enjoying this. Did a lot of park runs every weekend. I would go to my local park run, especially in Norwich, where I went to
Yeah.
university. So I'd go every Saturday morning, try and beat my 5K time from the previous week, like we all
Yeah.
do. So I've been gutted that we haven't had a park run now
I
in
know.
about 2 years or something
Yeah,
like
two
that.
years or so. Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, kind of started off as a park runner, and then just got more and more into running. I moved to Sweden straight after university
Oh wow.
with my girlfriend Meg. She got a job with H&M out there, so it
Yeah.
was a perfect opportunity for me to just come along for the ride. I ended
Yeah.
up working as a chef in a French restaurant.
Oh, cool.
Um, yeah, that's quite a well, not a long story, but a funny
We'll save
story,
that one
really.
for
Yeah,
another day.
yeah.
Yeah.
And as soon as I moved to Sweden, I thought, what better way to meet more people is to join a running club. So I
Yeah.
joined a running club in Stockholm called Sideline City. So shout
Yeah.
out Sideline. They were the first running club I joined, and it was just like a friendly sort of meet up in in a local cafe in the evening after work. We'd all go for a run. There'd be four different pace groups.
Yeah.
Um, there was one called Fika, which basically means in Swedish tea and cake. So sort of a very slow group, all the way up to my group, which was called, which they it didn't really have a proper name, but it was sort of like Schwupp. And basically, we ran the fastest, probably about
Yeah.
it's probably around like a 10K run on a weeknight. So that's when I got into running properly, really, and I've been
Yeah.
training ever since, trying to get quicker and quicker,
So
basically.
that's mental. So you've only been running sort of properly, if you like, for about sort of 2 years, do you say? Something like that, would
Yeah,
you say?
yeah, I'd say I've had a structured training um, plan probably for the last 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. And is that, when you say structured, is that you making your own sessions, or do you have a coach or anything like that?
The majority of it is me making my own sessions.
Yeah.
I also joined a second club when I was in Sweden, which was a bit more of bit more of a serious club.
Yeah.
And the coach would set like two sets of intervals sessions a week on a Monday and a Thursday night, I think they were.
Yeah.
So I kind of got in the routine of doing two hard workouts a week,
Yeah.
and then the classic long run on the Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
And I've probably been doing that for the last 2 years now.
Yeah. So I mean that's very similar to me. Like I don't have a coach. Same with you. It's kind of like, you know, you get your easy runs in, you get your long runs in, and then sort of like a 1 or 2 interval sessions a week or a tempo run a week. You know, that's
Yeah,
kind of the structure that I work around.
yeah, exactly the same
Um,
for me.
yeah, and obviously I don't know, have you got any kids or anything like that to balance it around?
No, I'm kid
Ah, so
free.
like, yeah,
Yeah,
luckily you're kid free, so you got a bit more time. So
yeah,
obviously at the moment for me, it's quite hard to balance 3 kids and weight training and work and all that. But you know, it's hard for everyone, and it is about balancing it in, isn't it? And getting as
definitely.
much
Yeah,
as you can get in. But I'm just going to quickly read out some of the comments here. So we've got Running with Stephen saying, "Hey guys, hey Stephen," and then we've got Ben Notley here saying, "Good evening, boys and girls." And then if tomatoes are a fruit, why isn't ketchup a jam? Says Yo. So yeah, cheers for watching, everyone. If you, as always, if you do have any questions, just let me know in the comments below. I'll try and come back to them as much as I can, and we're just going to get obviously a little conversation going with Ben. But just while we're here, if you are new to Ben and you don't know who Ben is, Ben also is a YouTuber as well. So I have linked in the description. I've linked to his YouTube channel. So if you like what you see today with Ben and think this guy is quite cool, then click on the link in the description and give him a subscribe. And also, if you guys are from Ben's side or just watching this today and you've somehow stumbled upon it, please consider subscribing to my channel as well. Thank you very much. So, we have got one question here that we're just going to bring up quickly before we get into a little bit more. So, Stephen says, I don't know if you know, Ben, but I'm an absolute shoeaholic. Like, I've
I
got,
have noticed. Yeah, I have
yeah,
noticed.
I have got quite a few shoes. So, Stephen is wondering, are you a shoeaholic too?
Um, I guess the short answer is probably yes.
Yeah.
I buy a new pair of running shoes probably once a month.
Yeah.
So not quite on your level. You seem
A little
to
bit more sane
buy
than me.
a pair a week at the moment, don't
I
you?
think it is at least once a week at the
Once a
moment.
week,
Yeah.
yeah. So um, yeah, once a month is my sort of shoe addiction, if you like.
Yeah. So you're
To
you're
to any normal person, I definitely am a shoeaholic. But
definitely, yeah.
on the running YouTuber scene, I'm pretty tame when it comes
Yeah.
to shoes.
But I mean, yeah, but you're more of like a race vlog and that kind of thing, and your videos always do really well, and they're always made really well.
Oh,
I
thank you.
enjoyed watching your video. Well, apart from the sound, which you sorted out, which was awesome.
Yeah,
But
thanks for that,
apart
by the
from
way.
that, your that's all right. But apart from that, your race vlogs are always good fun to watch, and I think although obviously I do a load of shoe reviews and that kind of stuff because obviously I just love talking about shoes, so it's just
Yeah,
natural for me to talk about them. So they normally, you know, it's quite a good video because it's
I
something
love
that I
watching
can
them.
naturally.
I love seeing the first
Oh,
impression on the shoes, and then I can decide whether I want to
yeah,
purchase it myself. So
and
yeah,
save you a bit of
you're
money or not. Yeah,
saving me some pennies, definitely.
or costing you some money instead.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, so I do love making them. But I think my favorite type of videos to make are the race day vlogs. You know, they're
Yeah,
just
definitely.
it's just that excitement, you know, of just putting it all together and then watching it back and you reflect on the day that you've just had and whether it was a good day or a bad day. But you can watch it back. It's something there that with your family or your, you know, or your girlfriend or your whatever, you can watch back and reflect and you know, it's just really good fun, isn't it? So I guess, you know, is
Definitely,
that kind of where, yeah,
you
go
don't
on.
get to see what it's like from an outside perspective because obviously you're so
No,
in the zone, you want to perform well. So it's nice to then in the editing process watch back the video, see how
definitely.
it went, and yeah, see a spectator's point of view. So it's really nice to watch them back, especially for the memories. So
Definitely, because like
um,
you say, when you're running, you're just so in the zone, aren't you? You
yeah,
know, it's kind of the
definitely.
day's all a bit of a blur. You're not really paying any attention other than your race is about to start and all that kind of thing. So it's almost like the first time you're experiencing the race in a way. You know, even though you've
Hmm.
run it, it's the first
Yeah,
time you're
completely
actually.
relive it from sort of an outsider's
Yeah,
point of view almost.
yeah, definitely. So
So yeah,
yeah, so I mean, is that just quickly? We'll go a little bit off our kind of topic, I guess, but we'll get on to it. I just obviously, as I said at the beginning, I wanted to talk to Ben because obviously he's a bit of a YouTuber and shoe reviews and racing vlogs and also into track running recently. So, how long have you been sort of doing running stuff on YouTube? Would you say now?
um, I think it's not actually that long. I've
Yeah,
had my YouTube channel for about 5 years now.
yeah,
Originally, I filmed my student life at university, so
yeah. I think I saw a few of them.
I've
Yeah,
made about 100 running related videos before I decided to rebrand the channel to Ben is Running. It used to be called Ben Felton Vlogs. But yeah, now it's Ben is Running. I think it's probably about a year now that I've been making running related content, and it's done a lot better than any of my other videos ever did. So it definitely was the right decision in terms of growing the channel and that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And I do really enjoy making running related content, because when I'm not at work or eating or sleeping, I'm out running, so it just comes naturally to make.
Yeah, and let's be honest, you're pretty good at running as well, so it's probably it's probably something that you can easily talk about. And
I mean, I do it pretty much every day, so it makes sense to make a video about running. Yeah,
definitely. And I did notice actually, so obviously when I think actually you commented first on my folks in 10K, didn't you? And then I was
it came up on my homepage, and because you seem to post your videos like almost straight after you've done the event. You're pretty quick on the old editing, so I think your video came up just before I was about to publish mine or something like that. So I was like, oh, I'll have a look at this. I didn't know there was another running YouTuber there at the same time. So obviously Ben Parks is there on the day.
Was there as well, wasn't he? I didn't actually get to speak to him, but so
I got a lovely little thumbnail with him.
I know, I saw that.
That certainly helped the video.
But so I was going to say, as I was looking through some of your videos, you've actually got one video that's gone super viral, haven't you? At the moment, you've got
out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. And so here's a little tip or hopefully you can give us a little tip as a YouTuber. Do you think you did anything special for that video to blow up, or is it just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes?
I have no idea, to be honest. It was a really interesting one, that video. So it's just a sort of sit down vlog where I talk about how to improve your 5K time, basically, and I just break the video down into sort of 5 sections where I think I found improvements in my training and that sort of thing. So it's kind of like almost like a tutorial video, which always do sort of well on YouTube, like how to fix things, basically. So that I made the video and it got about 400 views in the first 2 or 3 months of it being uploaded. So not a great deal of views in the grand scheme of things. And then after about 2 months of me starting to put more like running content up there, all of a sudden it almost overnight went crazy. All these people started commenting on it, got loads of likes, that sort of thing. So I guess the YouTube algorithm picked it up somehow and started putting it on people's homepages, and people started clicking on it. And it's done really well. I think it's on about,
I think it's on like 140,000. It's just going up by like thousands and thousands like every day. So awesome. That's brilliant. And it's obviously really helping your subscribers going up as well,
definitely.
having a video like
I think most people who subscribe to my channel have come from that video. And then they go and watch my other videos and have started subscribing, which has been great.
I mean, your channel's grown really quickly, hasn't it? You know, like I think when I started subscribing to you, following you, whatever you want to call it, you was maybe on about sort of 4.5, and you're on about 6.2 now in the space of a couple of months. So that's pretty decent stuff.
So I had 1,000 subscribers before I started making any running related content, and then I started posting the running stuff, and it didn't do very well because obviously all my subscribers I had weren't really interested. So it took a few, I think probably 3 or 4 videos before any of them got any views, if I'm totally honest. Which I think is why some of them have been like slow burners, and then all of a sudden they've taken off.
I know what you mean.
As the YouTube algorithm has finally pushed them to the right audience.
It's really I say to a few people that sort of YouTubers on here that we have a little bit of a chat with every now and then. It's a funny old thing, isn't it? The YouTube algorithm and all that, and the Instagram algorithms. You know, you do one video that, in your opinion, you've made a really good video. You think the thumbnail's eye-catching. You know, you've got all the keywords there, and then you put it up, and it absolutely flops. And you think,
definitely. And then you put a rubbish video up or not a rubbish video, but one that you're not so keen on. And then suddenly it's getting all this attention. You're like, why didn't people watch the video from last week? That was way better.
Definitely. It's very
frustrating. Just the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately.
Definitely. And when I was talking to Seth and Kafuzi, they said the same thing. So to people that are watching today that are sort of trying to grow their YouTube channel, I know sometimes it can take ages and ages. Obviously, Ben's been quite well. I wouldn't say the word lucky, but I'm not saying lucky. But you know, his channel has grown
definitely
nicely.
is some luck to it. Definitely is.
And my channel has grown fairly quickly. You know, I went from nothing to 1,000 in the space of like 3 months. So it has grown fairly quickly, not as quickly as Ben's, who's obviously grown really nicely. But for the people whose channels are growing sort of slowly and that kind of thing, it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It just sometimes it just takes time. So just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
Keep putting
definitely.
them videos out there, and one day you'll get a video that just goes mental. I'm still waiting for mine. I've had a few, quite a lot of my videos getting the 5,000, the 6,000, 4,000, 5,000. You know, on mainly the shoe reviews, because obviously I think that's what the base of my audience sort of are there for. But yeah, I've yet to have one like Ben's that has hit sort of 140,000 yet. So hopefully that happens at
you
some
never know.
point.
One of the videos you made a few months ago might suddenly do really well. Like
Yeah, I
that's what
think
happened
some of
with
them
my
are slow
channel.
burners, aren't they? You know,
Yeah,
they just sort of out of nowhere. I did a treadmill video, a sports tech treadmill, the one that I've got in my garage.
yeah,
And at the time, it got like barely any views, and it's not gone anywhere near as massive views now. But considering it was like literally had no interest at all for ages and ages, but it's one of them things that people are always going to look up what treadmill to buy, and if they're
yeah,
interested
definitely.
in that treadmill, and that's sort of up to like nearly 2,000 views now from nothing. It's literally just picked up over time. So yeah, we've gone a little bit off topic there, but I just wanted to ask Ben that because obviously his channel is growing really nicely. So we're just going to quickly come back to some of the comments. So Claire Syrian McBride is asking, how are the Boston 10s doing? Got mine today, but thinking to send them back based on various reviews. Thinking Dolphin Pro. Yeah, so I obviously I've got the Boston 10s. I've only gone out in 2 runs in them so far. They are a very firm shoe, but I think you have to sort of accept that they're not a normal Boston shoe. They're not like the Boston 9. They're not like the Boston 8. They're just basically a completely different shoe. I think the shoe would have done better if they hadn't named it the Boston. But I think as a sort of daily trainer, it's not a bad shoe. It's probably not the best one out there. It's probably not something I would have bought if I wasn't an absolute shoe nut. But at the same time, it's not the most expensive daily trainer you can get. So yeah, by all means, if you're thinking of sending them back and you don't think you're falling in love with them, then send them back and yeah, go for the Endorphin Pro or the Endorphin Speed. But I quite like mine for what they are. So yeah, there's that. And Gareth Lewis, hello mate, how you doing? Said enjoyed Ben's Folkestone 10K race video. Great time. Yeah, it was brilliant. So Gareth lives near me. He lives in Sittingbourne as well. He's actually in the same running club as me. He wasn't there. He wasn't there for that race, but yeah, it was fantastic, wasn't it, Gareth? He absolutely smashed it. What did you come like? Third, fourth?
I don't think I was in the front. There was a front pack that sort of run around 30-minute mark, and I
Yeah,
think my time was about 32 minutes 40, something like that.
yeah.
So I think I came about 8th or 9th place on the day,
It was a
which
fast
I was,
field, wasn't it?
yeah, really fast. I was really happy with that time.
Yeah,
The first 5K actually was completely. I don't know if you noticed, but the wind
yeah.
was behind us the whole
Behind
way.
us, yeah. But you don't
I think,
realise, do you?
and I broke 16 minutes for the first
That's
5K.
mental. Yeah,
And that was with me trying to hold back a little bit because
yeah,
I knew the wind was coming. So it's sort of an out and back course for everyone that doesn't know. You sort of
yeah.
run 5K along the coast and then
Turn
5K back.
around. Yeah,
Obviously the way back was all into a headwind. But yeah, really,
yeah,
really enjoyed that whole day. Really coming down
yeah.
to
It was
Folkestone. It
good.
was a bit of a drive for me, but
Yeah, it was quite a
um,
way. Yeah, but
an
yeah.
hour and a
So
half,
as
something like that. But yeah, really worth coming. I'll definitely be back next year, I think.
yeah, as Ben was saying, like, so he was sensible and managed to get there plenty of time, giving himself time to warm
Nice
up,
little warm up.
check the course out, find which way the wind's going, all the things that a normal sensible runner would do.
Especially as a running YouTuber, you got to get there a few
Yeah.
hours before.
Then you,
Check out the shots.
yeah, then you got me, the absolutely just everything went out the window. The kids were taking forever to get ready. We ended up getting there literally within, as I said a second ago, seconds, minutes to get there. I
I'll
couldn't
have to
get there.
find the clip of the start line because I think I'd probably cut it actually before
Probably
you
just
even went
before I
through
go
because you
there.
were so late to get into because they did an elite field, didn't
Yeah,
they? I think
yeah.
they called it elite anyway. A few under sub
Just anyone if he was
40
like
or something.
under, yeah,
40 minutes.
37. I think it was. I think it
Right.
was
Okay.
37. I ended up, I can't remember what I got. I think it was 37, 38, something like that. Not a great one today on that one. But
still
yeah,
a
so
great
I
time.
didn't know which way the wind was. So because obviously I just got there, just started
Yeah.
running.
Well, I
So
spotted that on the warm up straight away. I was like,
I
I'm
know,
flying
yeah.
along here, and then I turned around and I was like, oh, that's why
I
the
didn't
wind
even
is
get a
right in my
chance
face.
to warm up. So
No,
obviously, as I was running, you don't really notice the wind behind you unless
no,
you
you
know it's
don't.
behind you. So I'm thinking, oh, this is all right. I feel good. And then as we're turning around, I was like, oh, so the wind was behind me. And then I'm just
Yeah.
getting absolutely
Oh
battered.
god, that must have been a shock to the system.
Yeah,
I
it
knew
was.
it was coming the whole way, so
Yeah.
I could pace it according to the course and the
Yeah,
conditions.
you
So
were sensible. But we've got a couple more comments here. So we've got AI Max saying, or Al Max, sorry, saying, evening guys. Ben, are you planning any marathons in the near future or prefer the shorter stuff?
that's a great question. I'm actually currently, as of today, training for a 50k ultra marathon.
Awesome.
So I'm not any marathons. I haven't actually raced a marathon. I've done a
Yeah.
few as sort of long training runs. And as part of, I've done one other ultra marathon just before I left Sweden, actually, which is a really good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm training for Stour Valley Path 50k, which is in the middle of August. So yeah, as of today, I've started building the mileage up. Going to try and hit around 100 miles this week, which will be a
That's
big
mental.
ask. Yeah, but, I've only got 4 weeks till the race, so I need to sort of bypass a few weeks of the early stages of marathon
Just
training just to
go
try and
straight up there.
yeah, it's a bit risky in terms of making sure you don't get injured. But I've sort of run 140 kilometers, which is just short of 100 miles, and
Yeah.
not had any issues. So I'm just going to play it by ear. But yeah, make sure I get plenty of easy miles in over the next couple of weeks,
Yeah.
and then do some longer marathon type sessions. And make sure I get a good taper, really a good 10-day taper into that one, because 50k is a long way, especially on the trails.
Is that, I get why, as you say, it's on the trails? I guess it's quite a
Yeah.
hilly, elevated course, is it?
Yeah, there is quite a few hills. It's in a place called so the Stour Valley, which is you sort of go up and down across this river valley. So yeah, there is quite a few hills on it. It's not massive elevation in terms of some of these trail races you get, but it's definitely not a flat course.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm going to be targeting in the next month or so.
Awesome. I'll be interesting to. I guess you'll obviously be bringing your GoPro along, will you?
Of course, yeah. There'll be a vlog and training vlogs and that sort of thing.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing that. So, So, but what did you run? 20 miles today? Did you?
Yeah,
12 and 6. Was it?
I run in kilometers, so it's always difficult to get the conversion. But yeah, I ran 30 kilometers today over 2 runs. 20k on the treadmill, 10k this afternoon, just all easy runs. Just to see how the legs had pulled up actually from yesterday. So around about 120 to 135 beats per minute. I tend to stay in the zone 1, zone 2. So just jogging really. But
it's crazy. Distance. Well, you say just jogging, but that was about 7.5 minute mile pace, wasn't it?
Yeah, 7.5 to 8 minute mile pace, I think it was.
Yeah, so for you, that's obviously a nice with an insane speed you can do. But I think a lot of people will be thinking 7.5 minute mile pace is easy.
That's why I tend not to label my runs as easy runs, because obviously everyone's easy run is relative. Yeah, you might be a sprinter and go and do an easy run, and it's a 10-minute mile pace.
10-minute miler,
so I don't really like to call it an easy run, because for everyone
it's
different.
What you mean. So, definitely.
But yeah.
And so we've got Adam saying, congrats on the Essex champs, Ben. Any idea what your training for the 50k is going to look like? So I think we've covered a little bit of that question there, actually, but you're just planning on increasing the mileage and stuff.
Up the mileage, slightly less sessions, but plenty of longer runs. But yeah, thanks Adam for the congrats there.
Yeah, he did awesome. We will talk about that in a minute as well. And Ben Notley says, "Who is Ben Parks?" Yeah, who's Ben Parks?
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Ben is running is the new Ben. Is the new Ben on the YouTube.
You were the fastest Ben of the day, so
I know. I was quietly quite proud of that.
Yeah, I bet you was.
In the video, I said, "Oh, it's the fastest YouTuber on the day."
I did, and you was, because I was there and you smashed me as well. So you was the fastest on the day. He didn't even vlog it, did he?
He didn't. No. No,
I
he's
didn't
coming back
either.
from a few injuries and
Yeah,
the mental health problems he's sort of been suffering with. So
yeah,
I think he was quite happy just to be out racing, and that seems to be
definitely.
what he's been doing just to get back into it.
Get back into it, definitely.
Yeah. But Ben Parks is basically I think it's definitely a sarcastic
Yeah,
comment.
he's being sarcastic. Yeah, I know Ben. He
Ben
always does
Parks
that kind of.
is the idol of the British sort of YouTube scene, really, for runners
Yeah,
anyway.
he's doing pretty decent, isn't he? That's for
Yeah,
sure.
very, very good.
And Joanna's just joined us, saying, "Hey guys, sorry I'm a bit late, just at the gym. Hey Joe, how you doing?" So we're just going to get a little bit on target here with what we're supposed to be talking about. I will return to the comments as much as I can, but we're going to talk about we're going to quickly talk about the athletics events that we both had this weekend. I think because that's something that we've got in common at the moment is that we've been doing a few different athletic events. So I've just finished making my vlog for this weekend, and I know Ben has just uploaded his an hour or a few hours ago, which I haven't got a chance to watch now. Yeah, you did.
I don't know how I managed that. I don't work on a Monday, so I probably had a bit of a head start there.
Yeah, I think I just haven't had a chance to sort of get around to it. I've been spending most of the day sort of trying to recover these legs because they're suffering a little bit.
Really, yeah. You did plenty of races, didn't you? So
it was mental.
surprised.
So for guys that don't know, I did the shot put, which isn't really, it doesn't take that much out of you, but straight after I did the 800 meters, which is just lactic acid central, the 800 meters.
Yeah,
It really
a horrible race to do.
kills you.
I do not envy people who do the 800.
It's a crazy race. It's great fun. The adrenaline is just absolutely flowing on those races.
Yeah,
but
I suppose you don't have to count the laps, really, do you? Just two of them.
No, it's quite nice, but
not like a 5K where you've got 12 and a half.
No, exactly. But it's one of them things where, when do you, or as mainly previously a longer distance runner, when do I ever run 4:12 half mile? Never.
Yeah.
It's like I'm never running that fast. So like to suddenly be chucked
not even when you do strides, really.
No, not for a half
speed.
mile, not for a half mile at least. You might do it for 20, 30 seconds.
Yeah,
but
that must be a right shock to the system.
Yeah, but I used to do athletics when I was younger, 100 meters, 200 meters, that kind of stuff. Not the sort of level that you did. I know you was quite good when you was younger, and obviously still quite good now. But mine was just more of a something to do on the weekend type of thing when I was about 10, 11, 12, something like that. But yeah, so obviously I did the 800 meters, then I did the 3,000 meters, and then I did the two relays, the mixed 400 meter relay.
I thought I was mad doing the two events, but
I know. Well, my brother did the he did the same two races as you and the 100 meter relay at the end as well. So he was absolutely knackered by the end of the day.
Yeah, he was.
But that was his first ever athletics event. But he really enjoyed it.
And he went for 3 on the day. That's kudos to him.
Very brave
for doing 3.
Definitely. So yeah, you'll be able to all see that tomorrow. I won't put it on today because it's a bit late now to put it on. But yeah, that'll be up tomorrow. But Ben also did. We're basically in the same type of league, I guess. He's also run in the Southern Athletics League, and you did the 3,000 and the 1,500 as well, didn't you? How did they go? Just quickly.
Yeah, surprisingly well, actually. I sort of didn't taper into this weekend's racing because I had the Essex 5K on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And then for some reason on Thursday morning, I woke up sort of hungry for more and went and run a 75-minute half marathon. So my legs were completely broken come Friday and all of Saturday. Yeah. I somehow managed to roll and stretch them out and actually did quite well especially in the 3K. I was very happy with my time in the 3K.
Did awesome.
1,500 meters was just, crazy one.
But you still did awesome in that as well.
Yeah, still did all right.
Second or third?
Third in the 1,500 and second in the 3K. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching them in a bit. But which one would you say you enjoyed more than the 3,000?
In terms of enjoyment, I'd actually say the 1,500 was just because I'd already done the 3K, which is sort of my serious race, if you like. So the 1,500 was just a bonus. See what I've got in the tank, basically. And the way the race went was really interesting. It actually started, the first few laps was actually slower than my 3K race.
3K, wow.
So the field in the 1,500, they were all like 15, 16-year-olds. So it started off at a pedestrian pace. for what I thought a
For what the
1500
race should
meters
be.
should
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
And I got to sort of 2 laps to go, and I was like, I could win this thing. Sitting in about 3rd place, we come round to the bell lap, and these 2 young lads that are from the Chelmsford Running Club.
Yeah.
So they were A and B string, 1, 2, and I was the A string from my club, Colchester Harriers. And the bell went, and the guy in the lead just absolutely flew off. I didn't even see him like his kick, but by the time I noticed, he was 50 meters ahead.
That's
mental. I was like, oh bloody hell. Yeah, he just went for it, and I couldn't respond, obviously having done the 3K earlier.
Yeah.
And I was expecting just to do my usual like kick from home, 100 meters to go.
Yeah.
Lovely job, but no. Big shock to the system that was.
It is.
I think we closed in. It was under 60 seconds for that last lap.
That's mental, right at the end as well.
I don't think I quite managed 60 seconds, but the kid in front certainly did.
Yeah.
So he was obviously just racing to win the race, which a lot of people do in these championship races. If you're a faster runner, you sort of go to the front, slow it all down, and then kick for home.
Yeah, just to slow the pack down, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's certainly what he did. He obviously races 1500s all the time, and he knew what he
knows how to do it. Yeah. I think that's the hardest part, isn't it? If you've not raced them before, you don't really sort of know what to do. You don't know whether to go out in front or sit back or who to follow. Or because I kind of on the 800, you'll probably see in the vlog, but I think I didn't do it as fast this time. I think I haven't got the official times, but our coach sort of had a little look at the scores. So on the first time I did it in 2:09. Which I wasn't too unhappy with, to be honest. It's like sort of
that's really good.
What's that 4:11 per mile pace? I don't know what that is in kilometers. I know your kilometers.
It's under miles, 3 minutes. So. It's 2:50, I think, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So it was pretty good. This time the field was much slower. So the guy last time, I think I was so quick because there was a guy on my shoulder the whole way around. So I did
pulling you along, sort of thing.
Yeah, I did not want to let him beat me, and he did just at the end. I don't know if you saw it, but just at the end.
Yeah, I did. He just pipped you. Yeah.
Yeah, my legs
sort of running in the lactic.
Yeah, I tried to speed up, but it sort of went against me because my legs just buckled, and he did overtake me. But this time, the guy in front, I just thought, I'm not going to catch you. I just felt like I couldn't get there, and the guy that was second, I sort of couldn't really get there. So I was sort of sitting in the middle of nowhere, and then all of a sudden, on the bend, just probably the last 100 meters, I had far too much energy left. I literally did 100 meters at like probably like 11 seconds.
It was rapid. I saw your little YouTube short you put up today.
I literally just went.
You nearly caught him as well, didn't you?
I was like this close to catching him.
Oh yeah, if you had a few more meters, you'd have got him.
Yeah, but I think that just shows me that I subconsciously held too much back within the race. I shouldn't have.
I guess as a longer distance runner, you're probably used to having
to it.
Save. You don't want to let yourself out, because if you're doing your like the 10K, you're going to really suffer for that if you go out too hard. Whereas in
I think also I had
in
my head that I had the 3,000 to do still, and I had the 400-meter relay to do still, and the 100-meter relay. So I was kind of thinking. I don't really want to like kill myself. Yeah, I don't really want to kill myself.
Especially because I saw your vlog from the first one, and it seemed like you did go a bit too hard in your first race, didn't you? And then
definitely, I think I was. And then the 400, I could only go at 800-meter race pace. I didn't have my 400-meter legs on. But yeah, so I think I just wanted to talk about that quickly. But just now we're just gonna sort of switch over to talking about some ways that you can sort of get faster. So I know Ben, there's a couple of more videos as we were talking about earlier on Ben's channel about how to get faster. Again, this is all relative to individuals. So sort of Ben is obviously a really fast runner, sort of capable of doing mental times that I don't think I could probably ever do.
But you're not far behind. You're certainly catching me up.
Definitely not quite as fast, but the sort of the way that my channel is that it's for guys or girls that aren't, no disrespect to any other people, but they're heavier, guys that are sort of a bit bulky. I'm sort of 95 kilograms at the moment. I'm not a light guy for a sort of endurance runner, if you like. Definitely like kind of that frame, but it's sort of just you can get faster in any way, can't you? You might not be able to get to a certain level, but you can still put the training in to get there. So obviously that's sort of what I'm doing on my channel with the I've just started the How to Get Faster series. We covered some intervals with Lewis last week, and Ben has got a couple of videos on there, like we was talking about the video that he's done that's gone viral with some tips there. And I know you did one a taper tips, didn't you, as well,
Yeah,
last week?
recently.
That
Yeah.
was really interesting. But for the guys that haven't had, or girls that haven't had a chance to watch that yet, and obviously you guys can go check that out on my channel and on Ben's, but so what would you say to people that are watching today that are sort of really sort of thinking, right, now's the time, I want to get a little bit faster, I want to get a better runner. What would you probably say is the first most important thing for someone that wants to get faster?
For the most important thing I'd say is to learn that when you're going out for a run, you mustn't run at the same pace every single time you go out the door. So you've
100%,
got to
yeah.
learn what your easy pace is, what your tempo speed is, and what your interval pace is. Because if you're going out every time running the same distance and you're trying to go as fast as you can every time, unfortunately, you're not going to get any quicker. Or you might
Definitely.
get a little bit quicker, but you're not going to see the
It's going to
improvement
plateau, isn't it? Yeah.
that you would if you do some variations in your speed. So someone who's going out doing a 5K maybe 2 or 3 times a week, I'd suggest maybe doing a 3K run but slightly faster, and then doing
Yeah.
a longer run, maybe 8K, and but a slower pace. So my main advice for people trying to looking to get faster is to not run every single run at the same pace,
Yeah.
and to learn that it's okay to go out and do a recovery run at whatever pace feels comfortable to you. To make sure that when you do want to do your interval type work or your tempo stuff, that your legs
You've
are
got the
fresh and
energy. Yeah.
you can push on.
Definitely. And so in terms of other types of training around your running, do you see the importance of things like, and it doesn't have to be to a level of a weight trainer, but do you see the importance of resistance training and all that kind of stuff as well?
So for me, I don't tend to do like weight training to necessarily improve my running,
Yeah.
or any of the stretching, the plyometric stuff. I do it sort of a means of staying injury free.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, I found when I neglect all weight training, don't stretch, don't roll, that sort of thing, I do pick up these little niggles and stuff.
Definitely.
So yeah, I do maybe once or twice a week. I'll go to the gym and do some sort of weight training, just to prevent those injuries, really.
Yeah, definitely. I just sort of see this question here, but it's something I was going to ask anyway. But yeah, I mean, obviously, different people train for different reasons, don't they? Some people are just a runner and obviously want to get faster. Some people are a little bit of a hybrid and all that kind of stuff. But I always say, and just like Ben said, even if I wasn't a weight trainer as well as a runner, the benefits to not necessarily weight training to get muscle, but weight training for injury prevention and that kind of stuff
Yeah,
is just massive. You know, it just
and it's just
I
something I've learned over the course of running. Like, for example, I had an Achilles problem, so I started doing Achilles sort of strength work, building up the
yeah,
strength, because obviously it was a weakness, and I've not
yeah,
had a problem with my Achilles, touch wood,
yeah,
since. So
yeah,
um,
definitely. It just makes everything a bit more resistant, doesn't it? A little bit stronger. Obviously,
yeah,
we use the word prevent. We use the word to help reduce injury. It can't prevent any injury because obviously you've got overtraining or you've got sprains or anything could happen. But basically, you're just giving yourself as much chance as possible to continue your training
mm,
through obviously training correctly or as correctly as you can, like Ben said. I think every runner does it, Ben, don't they? When you first start running, you go out for a run, you go, oh, I did it in X amount of minutes. I'm going to beat that tomorrow or 2 days
yeah.
later, and then you do
You're
that,
always
and you
looking for that PB every single
yeah,
run,
and
but
you go, oh, I've
it
got a new
doesn't work like
PB
that,
today. Yeah,
unfortunately.
it doesn't, and I think every single runner in the whole world doesn't learn that until they've had an injury. I think
Yeah, you have to learn
because
it the hard way,
everyone tells you, don't
unfortunately.
they? Everyone says to you, you shouldn't be doing that, and you go, yeah, all right, and you just you just
Yeah,
carry on doing it
yeah,
anyway.
definitely.
But yeah, so what Ben said there is really important. Do your easy runs. And when we say easy runs, obviously easy runs relative to your own
Yeah,
pace. So
definitely. That's the most important thing, really,
yeah,
relative to
Ben's
you.
easy runs are going to be completely different to someone else's easy runs. Someone's will be faster than Ben's, someone's will be
Yeah,
a lot slower than Ben's. It's all relative to what you feel is an easy again is a term that you can sort of think about loosely, but it's
Yeah.
basically something where you're either in zone 1 or zone 2 if you work on your heart rate training, or if you work more on your sort of perceived effort, which is like a out of 10 kind of scale. You know, you're sitting in a very comfortable level where you can basically feel like you could easily hold a conversation throughout the whole of your training. And yeah, that sort of makes up the majority of your runs, doesn't it? Really, is your easy training and your
Yeah,
base
around
building.
about 80% for me
Yeah, yeah,
is all easy runs. Just working on your aerobic engine.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah.
And so, in terms of like how to then get faster, what sort of interval structure would you say was one of your most beneficial sessions that you tend to do? Say for
Um,
like a 10K, you know, obviously I know there's so many different
yeah.
types of training, but if you was training for a 10K, what sort of interval session would you say was your favorite one or most beneficial?
So for me, I found the most sort of success when it came to improving my 10K time is doing sort of 2 interval sessions a week.
Yeah,
And I'd do the first interval session as more of a speed work session. So it would be like 400-meter repeats all the
yeah,
way up to a kilometer. I wouldn't really go any further than a kilometer. So, for example, 6 times a K
yeah,
or 16 times 400 meters,
yeah,
all with about 45 seconds to a minute rest.
yeah,
To build up that speed, get your legs used to running at your sort of 10K race pace or slightly faster. And then I would do a longer sort of tempo session. So
yeah,
for those people that don't know, sort of intervals, for me, I run at sort of more of a threshold, which is a little bit faster, maybe a 9 or 8 or 9 out of 10.
yeah, yeah,
And then I would do a tempo session maybe 2 days later at sort of a 7 or 8 out of 10, slightly
yeah,
longer intervals. So maybe like 3 times 10 minutes with a minute recovery or minute 30 recovery,
yeah,
or even up to 15 minutes, 3 times 15 minutes, that sort of thing. And that sort of builds your speed endurance. So you get
yeah.
used to running at a fast speed for a longer period of time. So
So
they're
do
the
you
sort
ever
of
do like
mixture I do.
do you ever do tempo runs in the sort of sense that you would go out and do a solid sort of block of say 30 minutes at a tempo pace?
Yeah, I do those sort of runs, but sort of less frequently. I tend to have more
Yeah.
structure to my
Yeah.
tempo, where I still like to keep it intervals. But I do occasionally do like a 30-minute tempo run,
Yeah.
um, or if I'm training for something longer, maybe a little bit longer, say up to 60 minutes, really.
Yeah, yeah. And so what sort of pace ranges would you say people should be running at that when it's more of a tempo run, what sort in terms of race pace, where would you say they should be sitting in between?
Um, It's a good question. For me, my tempo is sort of slightly slower than my half marathon pace. So somewhere
Yeah.
between the 10K and half marathon pace um, is where I would say run your tempos, or around that 165 to 175
Yeah.
beats per minute if you
Yeah,
run
so
to
I
heart
think
rate.
it is quite relative to the person, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
I think again, it's all open to different coaches and different ways that you can research and all that kind of thing. But in the sort of book that I sort of use as my sort of running bible sometimes to just sort of get some inspiration from,
Love it.
it basically says that a tempo run, if you're doing it as like a solid block rather than obviously like 3 sets of 15, 12 or whatever it is, it should
Yeah.
be a pace that you can hold for an hour if you was
Yeah, I've
racing
heard
it,
that before. Yeah.
basically. Yeah, so it should be so, which for me would obviously, but then sometimes half marathon pace feels a bit too fast for that. I know you could
Mm.
obviously realistically hold that for an hour, but
Yeah.
it's also like Ben was saying, it should feel, it's basically it's supposed to feel comfortably hard is the terminology
Yeah.
that's mainly used for it. So it's something that you know you're working, and it feels like you know you're working, but it doesn't feel like you're racing at any point. It doesn't feel like you're going all out,
Yeah, you
isn't it,
shouldn't be
Ben?
pushing into the red, really. You want to be up,
Yeah,
you want to be close to it, but you don't
yeah,
want to be into it, because then it becomes more of a threshold run, and then you will need longer to recover from that sort
yeah.
of effort, because it's more of a race pace then. So
And
yeah, keep
it's confusing, isn't it? You know, you think when you start running, you think all I've got to do is find a couple of shoes, go out the door,
yeah
and just run. And essentially that is all you have to do.
yeah that is the simple version of it, but
But
then
it's
as you do
just
it
not,
more
is
and
it?
more,
Yeah, you just it's
yeah
so scientific, really.
yeah
If you want to get faster, as quick as possible, not as in rushing, but like in the
Yeah.
most scientific, tried and tested type of way. You know,
Yeah.
it's best to adhere to how, you know, a sort of Olympic athlete would train. Obviously not
Mm.
as they would, but take sort of what they would do, because there's a reason why they train like that, because it's obviously the most efficient and most effective way of training. But there's just it's kind of like an iceberg, isn't it? Running and all that kind of thing.
Yeah,
There's going out
definitely.
the door and just running above the sea level, and then underneath
Yeah.
you've got nutrition, you've got your stretching, your foam rolling,
And all
you've
these
got
words that nobody knows what they mean.
yeah, all these
I'm still
words.
learning them all. I hear them
I
all the
know.
time. Like I got told by my coach to do a lactate threshold effort, and I was like, well, I don't know what my lactate threshold is. What's that mean?
What's
So
one of those?
yeah, there's lots of terminology, and obviously the beauty of running as well is that everybody's different. So some people
Definitely.
are gonna prefer the longer tempo efforts, whereas some people are going to get the most benefit from the shorter interval stuff. It all
Yeah,
depends on like what races you're training for, body composition, your experience,
definitely.
that sort of thing. So what works for me and you won't necessarily work for other people. So it's all about
Yeah,
finding what works for you. And yeah,
definitely.
and as you train more and more in each training block before a race, you'll learn what your favorite sessions are and that you see the most benefit from.
Yeah. So I think really the sort of key things to take from that is that, you know, you shouldn't run every race, or every run too fast and too hard. To sort of focus more on sort of your longer runs and your interval training, tempo sessions, that kind of thing, and just try and do a little bit more a little bit more resistance training. Not necessarily to be bulking, to make muscle and all that kind of stuff, just to prevent injury, well, to try and prevent injury and all that kind of
Mm.
stuff. I think that's really sort of the fun. I mean, we could probably talk for hours about how you can go into detail on every single subject,
Yeah.
and I'm sure within Ben's channel and my channel, we will all go into more detail with it. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to get Ben onto the channel because he is, you know, there's always people you look to and think that they're, you know, a very decent runner, a fast runner, and I'm sure a lot of people look to me and think I'm a very decent runner. And then obviously there's people that I look to that think are very decent runners, and there's people that Ben look to and think are very decent runners, and it's all
Yeah.
relative, you know, because as one of the key things on my channel, like I always go on about, is that running is in essence isn't always necessarily like fair on paper, because you don't all weigh the same, you don't all have the same background in terms of, you know, some might be a weightlifter, some might be a boxer, all that kind of stuff. And obviously scientifically, if you weigh 30 kilograms more than someone, that's a massive difference to be carrying around. But it doesn't make you slow, you know. Fast is all relative to what you weigh, to how you train, and to your lifestyle,
Definitely. Yeah.
because you know, you might not be one of them people that wants to train or run every single day. So, you know, when we say how to make you faster, I don't mean you're all of a sudden going to be a 12-minute 5K-er and all of a sudden you're, you know, you're the best runner in the universe. It's just about how you can get quicker to a relative level, isn't
Yeah,
it, really?
definitely. Yeah, you've got to have a starting point and then see how good you can get from that starting point.
Yeah.
And obviously, everyone's starting point is different.
Yeah.
Um, Especially when it comes to something like the 5K. Some people start off with an hour as their 5K pace, whereas some people can start off being like, I've got a friend who doesn't run at all, but he can run a
Yeah.
20-minute 5K just out of nowhere. And
Just out of nowhere.
for some people, that's just not achievable, even with, I don't know, running every single day. So yeah, everyone's different, has different
Yeah,
starting points.
definitely. So yeah, we've I think yeah, I think we did answer the question here. So yeah, someone said, "What's your view on 80-20 running?" Yeah, I think we did just cover that. But yeah, that's basically how most of your training should
Yeah,
be,
it's about right.
meaning that 80% of your training, again, we use a term loosely, like easy running, just in terms of something that for you feels like a pace that you could do for ages with talking and all that kind of stuff, where you're in sort of zone 1, zone 2 and your heart rates, and a very low perceived effort, basically. And then 20% would be your intervals or your tempo runs and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I've got a friend actually, probably one of the fastest guys I know, and he has the opposite split where he does about 80% of his running at a ridiculous speed, and then the 20% will be his recovery runs, which are still like 7-minute miles or something like that. So
It's mental, isn't it?
for
How they can
everyone,
do that.
yeah, I don't know how obviously his mileage is a lot lower than what mine would be, because I prefer to do more easy runs.
Yeah.
So more like the 80-20 split, whereas he'll do much more speed work, but less mileage. So yeah, again, so everyone's different again.
Yeah, and I think that the purpose of this as well, and actually it reminds me of a comment that I got on my interval session with Lewis last week, where I was talking about sort of ways I'll be training for the London Marathon. And as I said, it's not gonna. So I did do another vlog for that today, or I say vlog, another video for that today. I haven't edited that yet, but it's basically the main concept is what sort of shoe I'm going to be wearing, and loosely talking about my training. There's plenty of people out there that do a weekly vlog. It's not something that I really want to do, talk about what I do like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't feel like I have enough time to do that, to commit to taking the GoPro out every day.
Same for me.
And there's a lot of people out there that do it, and they do it really well. So I don't.
The FOD runner is a good example of
FOD runner,
someone
and
who
Ben
does
as
their
well,
weekly
who we was
updates.
talking about earlier. Actually, Ben Notley, he's got great videos. If anyone's watching this, Ben's videos are awesome. It's just not something that I really want to do. You know, I just don't want to commit to bringing the GoPro out with every session that I do. So it's just more like maybe focusing on key sessions. You know.
Oh no, what's happened?
It did this to me last week as well.
Oh no,
that stupid
you're back.
thing. Sorry about that. I don't know. It seems now every time we get to 50 minutes, it seems to cut me out. So sorry about that, Ben. You're probably
no worries.
What is
I was like,
going
oh
on?
no, he's left me, and it still says live in the top left
I'm
corner.
on his channel on my own. What am I supposed to say?
Yeah, I haven't got a script here.
It did that last week not the week before when I was with Ed Budd. All of a sudden I was talking and it just chucks me off. So I don't know why it keeps doing that. Every time it gets to 50 minutes, it seems to chuck me off now. But sorry about that. I'm back.
No worries.
Yeah, so it's not something I really want to do. Is the weekly vlogs? It would be more sort of focusing on individual sessions. But anyway, the point I was making, but I sort of lost my thought because I got chucked out of the channel. But the point I was making is that I had a comment on there saying, because me and Lewis went out for an 8-mile run. It was meant to be a 12-mile run. That was our long run for the week.
Watch that one.
And somebody basically said, and it's not negative. I could take negative comments. It's, you know, you're going to get positive comments. You're going to get negative comments. I just laugh it off most of the time. I'm a pretty confident guy. It doesn't bother me. I'm just like, you know, fair enough. But so they basically said, you do know that you're meant to do a continuous long run and not stop. And I basically said to them, you do know that the reason why I didn't do that is because the person I was running with was unable to. And also I think the point that I'm making is that there really actually isn't a right and wrong way of training. There's ways that some people might think are completely wrong and some people might think are completely right. But it doesn't mean it's the only way of training. Now, obviously, on that occasion, I was meant to be just doing a 12-mile run without stopping. But you have to adapt sometimes. You can't always do what you went out to plan to do. You might be injured or you might be feeling a lot better than you was and think, oh, actually, I might do a little bit of intervals now and change this session with that session. And I think, Ben, you would agree that being adaptable in any sort of training block is quite important, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And the sort of what you're saying there, you've got to adapt. It also applies to sort of the interval stuff that you do. So, for example, if you've gone out and you've said you want to do your kilometers in 3 minutes 20, which is your goal race pace, but on the day your legs are tired, it's really hot, you're struggling. It's okay to hit maybe like 10 or 20 seconds below what you were trying to hit. Just maintain that effort. You're still going to get the benefit from it. It's not a race.
Definitely.
Every run isn't a race. So you've got to be able to adapt to the conditions, to how you're feeling and that sort of thing. So yeah, definitely don't be disheartened if you go out for a 12-mile and you can only do 8. That's just your body saying, oh, you've been training quite hard recently and you just didn't have that today.
Yeah, definitely. And that sort of echoes the comment that I said actually on my video. You know, we've set out, it was actually training for this 800 meters. I actually wanted to get as close to 2 minutes as I could. And it ended up being the opposite. I ended up getting slower on the day. But as I said, I think that's because of all the other races. But in that sort of session, the wind and the rain was absolutely mental. So as we was going round and trying to hit sort of 3 minutes 50 per mile pace, which is obviously a very fast pace to be running. I know it was only 200 meters, but
Yeah.
we did about sort of 12 reps. So we wasn't really doing it at sprint speed. It was kind of like, you know, we were trying to get it somewhere in between. But obviously at that pace, you feel like you're running really hard.
Yeah.
And just no matter what we was doing, we just and the fact that we was doing
Just
12,
wasn't happening on the
we
day.
was just not we was just not getting sub 30 seconds. It was 31, 32, 33.
Yeah.
But that's what I said, you know, we feel like we put everything into the reps that we could. We feel like on the day the wind was only allowing us to do that, and I still find it was a successful session because
Yeah, you still banked the session. It's better than the session that never happened. So,
yeah, definitely.
and
it's all
even if you don't
resistance,
hit the
isn't it?
splits.
If it's more windy or it's hotter, it's more resistance to your training. It's obviously not allowing you to train as it would if it was a cooler day or if the wind wasn't there and all that kind of stuff. And so you're still putting the same effort into it. So I think you are sort of still reaping the same benefits from it. You're just maybe not getting that time that you're sort of more aiming for. But the resistance wise and sort of body wise, I think you're sort of getting the same sort of thing out of it.
Yeah,
to be
definitely.
honest. But yeah, so yeah, I just, like I said, I just wanted to get Ben onto the channel today, mainly because I just wanted to have a little chat with him. He's a decent guy, very similar interests at the moment, obviously with YouTube and the athletics race. And just a question from me to you is, after you've done this 50k ultra, how are you feeling about the track races? Is it something you want to do a little bit more of?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I've still got unfinished business with the 5k. I see myself as being able to run 15 minutes flat, and I think in my last race I ran 15:54, which I was quietly a little bit disappointed with, which I know to some people sounds crazy. Like you run sub 16, like that's amazing. But I was hoping to do a little bit better than that, and I feel like some of the trainings I have done shows that I can run faster than that. So yeah, definitely got unfinished business with the 5k. I've really enjoyed the 3k. It seemed that was a sort of nice distance, so you can go all out and you don't have that painful last few laps. And even the 1500 meters, I'd be up for doing that again. I don't think I'm going to compete with the best in the world over the 1500, but yeah, definitely some unfinished business with the track stuff, and I'll probably maybe in two months, I think I'm gonna have to miss the next Southern Athletics League for this 50k, but the one after that I'll certainly be looking at doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm really struggling with at the moment. So I think you're right. You can't, I mean, you're a pretty decent runner at everything, so you probably could just get away with it.
I like racing, whatever the distance, to be honest with you.
But I think a lot of people, and again, it depends on the makeup, doesn't it? How much you weigh, what type of training you do. You know, obviously, I'm a weightlifter and a runner, so it's it's incorporating all that into it. But for me, it's like I don't want to be like. Again, people be watching thinking, Sam, your times are amazing. Other people are thinking, Sam, your times are slow. It's all relative. But I don't want to be like, you know, quite good at a 5k, quite good at a marathon, quite good at a half marathon, quite good at a 10k. Like, I think if I can sort of focus my training a little bit more on the shorter stuff, you know, maybe sort of, you know, drop all the longer runs for me. I do enjoy them. I just don't enjoy racing them. I don't enjoy training for a marathon. I'm not going to lie. It's just, you know, the most miles I've ever run in a week is 62 miles. I don't want to go out there running 70, 80, 90, 100 miles in a week, you know, every week. I just, one, I don't want to. And two, I just don't feel I have the time for that with the kids, with the weight training, with work, you know. And it's not me making excuses. It's saying that everybody likes to train differently, and I don't want to do that.
Do what you enjoy at the end of the day. There's no point running marathons if it's not what you want to do.
Yeah, you know, and I think I'm never going to be a really decent marathoner. I think if I can get sub 3 in the London Marathon, tick that off and say, yeah, I've done a sub 3.
Done a marathon. Yeah.
I think, I mean, I've done a few marathons, but like you, I've never like raced one. You know, I did an ultra that was it wasn't a race. It was like when my nan died, I did an ultra basically in memory of her. And I've done a lap challenge, one of them Saxons, Vikings, Normans, whatever they're called, lap challenges. So again, that was like a race, but it wasn't. You know, they're not really a race. They're kind of, you just turn up, do as many laps as you can on the day, And I was like, oh, should I do a marathon? That was the first time I'd ever run more than 14 miles. And I ended up doing a marathon on the day and broke myself. But yeah, so I think me going forward after this marathon, and I'm not saying I'd never do a marathon again or never do a half marathon again, but I'd really like to just put in some really, again, it wouldn't be as close as Ben because Ben's just phenomenal in 5K and stuff. But I would like to be able to get
I'm sure the same would apply though if we raced over the 800 or the 400. I'd be getting smoked.
Maybe, yeah. But I would like to sort of be able to focus on a 5K time. You know, I'm still trying to hit that sub 17. I've got 17:09, and I just love to be able to get closer to 16 minutes. But I know other people might feel you can train for all of that. I just feel like with the way I'm stretching my training, I really just don't feel like I can get to that 16-minute mark and sort of train for a marathon and train for a 5K.
Yeah,
and some people might be able to feel they can do that, but I just feel like maybe I wouldn't be able to do that, especially with the 1500 meters and 800 meter times. I'd just like to sort of focus on that a bit more. So just one last question before we go. We've been here for a while now, but what would you say out of all the races you've ever done, especially now that you've done the track races, what would you say is your favorite race? Not in terms of like where, just the distance. What's your favorite race distance?
It's 5,000 meters is my favorite, I think, or the 10. I quite enjoy a 10K race because you've got time to find your legs in those sort of races, and I seem to do well compared to the average person.
Definitely.
That seems to be my sort of. That's where my body is sort of is built for the 5 and 10K. I feel so.
Well, you say that, but you went out and did like a 1 hour 11-minute half marathon the other day, which is
I do like
amazing.
the longer stuff as well. I think 5K and up is basically what I like to race.
Yeah.
And I'd like to explore the ultra marathon scene as well, but more just as sort of a completion type thing, not as a target times. I'd just love to be able to do a 50. Obviously, a 50K is the first box to tick, if you like, and then I'd like to do maybe 100K all the way up to 100 miles eventually.
Amazing.
So
yeah,
just to see where the mental side of
running can take you.
Running can take me, really.
Yeah, that's awesome. So once again, guys, if you've been watching this today and you've enjoyed what you've been watching, then I have put a link in the description to Ben's channel. And again, if you guys are watching from Ben's side or just happen to stumble upon this thumbnail today, then please consider subscribing to me. But Ben, thanks again for having a chat with me today, Matt.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to be watching your vlog in a minute, and mine will be up tomorrow. Is there
I'll
anything
make sure
you'd
I keep
like to
an eye out for that?
Yeah, cheers. Is there anything you'd like to sort of just put out there just before we go?
No, just thank you very much for having me. Really enjoyed chatting to you. Should definitely do this again sometime soon.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like we've got a lot in common.
Yeah, we have. Yeah,
in terms of what we like to race.
Maybe one day, if we both continue in the athletics, maybe we'll meet each other one day in the Southern Athletics. I don't think I'll be keeping up with you, but maybe I'll see you there.
Maybe I'll come and do 400 meters with you or something like that, and you can come and do an ultra marathon or something, and we'll see how we get on.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Well, thanks again, everyone, for watching. Thanks, Ben, for joining. As always, guys, I've been Running Man Sam, and I will see you guys in a bit.